This is a review for our test tomorrow. So one of the things that will be on the test tomorrow is solving by factoring. So one type of problem you will see may look like this. So if I want to factor this, we know the square root of 4 is 2. X squared breaks down to x times x. And the square root of 9 is going to be positive 3 and negative 3. Now remember, if you don't remember how to factor this using the shortcut, this is the difference of two squares, then you'll have to use the x factor. Once you've factored it, don't stop here. Don't stop here. You need to set each factor equal to 0 and solve each one for x. Alright, here I subtracted the 3 and I divided the 2. So I got negative 3 halves. Added the 3, divided by 2, 3 halves. Okay? Okay, example 2, solving by factoring. First thing we want to do is set the equation equal to 0. Then we want to factor this. So I suggest using the x factor here, multiplying a times c. And the b value goes on the bottom. And so 8 times 3 is 24. And 8 and 3 can get us to 5. Looks like I want to make the 8 negative. Since they'll add to give us negative 5. Put our a value on top. Simplify. So we're going to end up with x minus 4 and 2x plus 3. So once you've factored this, you're not done. Remember, you need to set each factor equal to 0, and then you need to solve for x to get the two solutions. Okay, let's take a look at the next example. Okay, so here we have a quadratic inequality. And what we want to do is we want a sign graph. We want to graph the inequality itself, and we want the answer displayed in interval notation. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to plug this in to our calculator. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go to my graph. Now, what I'm wanting to find here is I want to find out what the two roots are. So it looks like one of the roots is going to be at 3. If I go to my table, I can see that it's not. See, it's 3, 1. Okay, so I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to solve it. You can solve using the quadratic formula, or we press second, trace, 0. And let's find the one on the left first. Enter, go to the right, enter, enter. So negative 1.4. And then let's find the solution on the right side. So second calc, 0. And this time we find the left of the 0 below and the right above. Enter. And so we're going to round that to 2.9. Okay, so there's no equal sign here, so we're going to be using open dots. And it says here that the function, we're looking for where the function is greater than 0. So I'm going to go ahead and sketch a graph over here. So it's going to go through here at negative 1.5, and 2.9 is about right here. And our y-intercept is negative 8. So it's going to look a little something like that. So recall, this is our 0 line. Okay, y equals 0. So we're looking for where the function is greater than 0. So you are expected to graph that part of the graph. Shade it. Shade it. If this was a less than, we would shade below the 0. Okay? And since the shading is to the left of this point, we shade to the left. Since the shading is to the right of this point, we shade to the right. Interval notation. So looking at this graph right here, I'm going to go from negative infinity to negative 1.5. Open dot, so it gets a parentheses, union, and then we're going to start up again at 2.9 and go to infinity. No brackets because of the open dots. We don't include those 2 points as part of the solution. Okay, so here we are. We're solving a system. One is linear and one is quadratic. So if you plug these two into your calculator, you're going to get, make sure you plug it in correctly, a graph that's going to look something like that. So if I was going to sketch this, now the solution to a system is always where the two functions intersect. Since they do not touch each other, the answer in this case would be no solution. Okay, so I tweaked the two systems this time. Again, we have a linear, same as before, okay? And then we have a quadratic, but I moved it up, okay? So this time when you plug it in and you graph it, notice it touches each other in 2 places. So these 2 points would be our intersecting points. Now to find those two graphically, we're going to press second trace, and we're going to go down to intersect. And then all we want to do is we want to move that cursor near an intersection point. Once you move that cursor there, you press enter 3 times, and it tells you negative 0.9 and 3.8. So one solution, and I'm rounding to the nearest tenth here, is that. Alright, so let's find the other solution. And we're going to go to the other intersection points. So we're going to move the cursor down there so it's close. Okay, enter, enter, enter. And so 1.5 and negative 3.6. And those are our 2 points. Okay. Okay, so then not only will you have to solve a system graphically, you will also have to solve the system algebraically. So don't forget that when they're both in y equals, you set the two equations equal to each other, and then you have to solve. So since it's a quadratic, you have to set it equal to 0. So we will cancel everything on the left here, or you could move those two over here. It doesn't matter which way. So cancel out the negative 3x, cancel out the 1. So I'm going to go ahead and move this stuff over here. I have okay, and the easiest way to solve this would be to plug it into your calculator. And then we want to find the solutions, so we do second trace, 0. Okay, and we're going to go to the left of the 0, enter, to the right, enter, enter. What do you notice? Negative 0.9. Look back up at our answer. Negative 0.9. Negative 0.9. Okay, let's get the other one. 0. We're going to go to the left, which would be above it, and to the right, which would be below it. Enter. And what do you know? 1.5. Look back up at our graphical answer. 1.5. Then we're going to take that value and we're going to plug it in to one of the two functions, either one, it doesn't matter, and get the y value. So I like to do the linear one. Okay, if you plug that in, you're going to get 3.8. Okay, if you plug 1.5 in, you should come out with negative 3.6. Make sure you show all your work on these problems. And finally, the last type of problem you're going to see on the test is what we were just doing yesterday, where you're given 3 points and you're to come up with the equation. So if you'll recall on number 5, the one that we did together, let's do this one, where we're given the y-intercept, okay, writing the two equations, then eliminating one of the variables and solving for a and plugging it back in to a and solving for b, and we already know what c is. So anyway, if you need a review on this, please go back and watch my video. Okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow. You're going to do fine. You're going to do great.